Hello, my name is HAPruitt, and I am the author of the Anathalian series, and I am also an editor. And this video and this video series is going to be about editing your book. I'm going to explain how to edit a book, all the stages, all the steps. Not all steps are going to be absolutely necessary to edit a book, but all of the steps will be helpful in making your book the best it can be, whether you're traditional publishing or self-publishing. A lot of them will apply to both before you even get your book to the point of sending it to query or sending it to an editor. This will help you self-edit your book to make it the best it can be. If you want to know about my editing services or the 4 types of editing, I have that in a video, and I'll put that video down in the description you can watch. If you're interested in hiring me as an editor, or you just want to know like the basics of the 4 types of editing, then you can watch that video linked in the description. And if you have any questions or if you have suggestions of editing topics, please leave them in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the video for this week. So this is the 14th video in the editing series, and this video is going to be about making sure that your cover and your illustrations match with your text. Okay, so this is not a hard concept and anybody can do this. And it's basically making sure that whatever is drawn in your book, whatever is portrayed, all your images, like chapter headings, illustrations, the cover, making sure that they all match what the text says. And so the biggest way, the easiest way to do this, the easiest way for you and your illustrator or cover designer to do this is to make sure your book is finalized in the text as much as possible before commissioning a cover or commissioning illustrations. So I do my own illustrations, and I know that sometimes you get excited and you want to jump ahead. My covers are, since I wrote the first book like 10 years ago, since I wrote the first book so many years ago, the covers have been established because they are the necklaces that are in the first 4 chapters of the first book. So I don't have to worry about messing that up. But like if you have a cover or an illustration specific to the book, then you're going to have to make sure everything's finalized in the book. Like for example, in my 5th book that I'm working on, I got excited about my illustrations and I did them all really quickly. And then I was reading through and editing through, and in one scene I drew the scene where there are 2 characters in a hall, and one is closer to the camera and one's farther from the camera, and they're facing each other. And I forgot to read the chapter and make sure that that's how they were actually standing, when in reality I got it in my head that's what was it, but in reality the character that's closer to the camera is facing this way, facing away from this character here, facing away from this character. So I'm going to have to redraw it, and I have not done that in months because I just don't want to do it. And your illustrator is going to feel like that too. If you say to your illustrator, okay, draw these 2 people looking at each other, and then later you come back and say, oh well, actually one character was facing a totally opposite direction. It may not seem like that big of a deal, but it is such a big deal, because even I did this picture in layers, and so in theory I can just erase this one layer, but I drew a little bit of the shading in the same layer with this guy, because sometimes you just do, okay? Sometimes you just forget you're drawing in one layer and you just go with it. And so I can't just delete that layer. I have to be very careful in erasing only him and all of him, and then redrawing him without affecting anything else and affecting the background. And it's very difficult. Even if it seems like, oh, it's just one little thing, one little part of your illustration, but in actuality it's like, no. And I've done this before with other books. Sometimes I've had to just flip a picture because everybody was positioned in the opposite position. I've had to go back and do things because I just got it in my head the scene was one way, and when I read it in the book it was another way, and I didn't want to change it in the book. So finalize everything in the book before you commission someone. Just take the description out of your book and give it to them like that, and then add to it from there. Don't just be like, oh well, I remember this scene and it's like this and this and this, and then when you get it you'll be like, oh, that doesn't match the book. Oops, because it's going to cost you more money, them more time. So finalize everything how you want it in your book. Do everything. If you still have some proofreading left, that's okay, but like don't have any more developmental editing, don't have any more scene changes, don't have any more big changes besides commas, you know, before you get your illustrations and cover done. The cover, okay, so a lot of times on the cover, people have things that don't look exactly the same. And I understand this is because you can only get so much with stock photos. You can only get so much with certain things. And a lot of people use stock photos to do their covers because it's cheaper than hiring an artist to paint or draw exactly what you have in your head. And that, I guess some people are okay with that. But for me, when I see a stock photo and it doesn't match the description of the character inside, it really makes me not like the cover at all. It really turns me off to the book. And it really makes me upset because I'm like, that's not who is in this book. So I don't know if you are like that too, put that in the comments so people who are watching can know, like, do other people care if the cover actually matches? Do other people care if the illustrations don't look exactly right? Tell me in the comments, do you care? Do you not care? I care so much, especially in my own books. My own books, if it does not match how it's supposed to be exactly, I get so upset with myself. And if it doesn't match other people's books, I get so upset with them. I'm like, it doesn't match. You should have worked harder to just make it match your character. I really want what's on the cover, what the visuals are, to match for me, because that enhances the book so much, especially for people who are not visual. Because for me, I'm like, well, I'm just going to imagine it like I want, and I'm not going to look at the cover anymore. But for people who have trouble visualizing or imagining, it makes it difficult, and it makes it seem it is inconsistent, and it is wrong. It makes it harder to imagine your characters because you have inconsistency with your text and visuals. So make sure your text and your visuals match, all of them. Like, some people just have a little picture over their chapter number or something like that. Even that, make sure it matches as much as possible. I know you may be limited with just stock photos or with what your illustrator or cover designer has access to, but take the time, spend the money to get it right, because it enhances your book so much to see the scene exactly as it is in the book, or see the character exactly as they are in the book. It gets readers so excited, guys, so excited. And so that, I guess that's the tip. The tip is finalize everything before you dive into illustrations, especially if you're not doing them. If you're doing them, you fix your own mistakes. You take the time. But especially if you're having somebody else do it, make sure you fix everything, get it all like you want it before you do the illustrations and before you do the cover. And make sure when you do that, just take the text right out of your book and send it to your illustrator or send it to your cover designer and be like, this is in the book, this is what I want, and then add to it from there. Don't just say, oh, well, I remember what that looks like, and then realize that your character who has brown eyes, you accidentally made them have blue eyes on the cover and they look totally different, and you're like, oh no, and I've already paid for this, I can't undo it. Let's just go with it and upset your readers. So that is a very important part. It doesn't seem like it's part of editing, but it is part of editing, especially when you're your own illustrator. So that is about making sure your illustrations and cover match your text. That is important. So that is the editing tip for this week. Please like this video, please leave a comment, please share this video with others. Please check out that video of my editing services and the 4 types of editing in the description below. And remember, this video is part of a series, so please watch the series so you can make your book the best that it can be. If you want to know more about Anathalion or HAPruitt, please follow me on Instagram at HAPruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, HAPruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, HAPruitt Anathalion. You can find me on the Facebook page, HAPruitt Anathalion. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name HAPruitt and the book Anathalion, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anathalion is. The website is HAPruitt.com.